Hi and welcome to Powerful Presence TV. I'm Georgie FitzGerald and this is the beautiful Annie. Welcome, Annie.
Hi Georgie, it's really lovely to be here.
Yeah.
Boo was such a nice lady, a yummy cuddly lady.
Yeah, we're snuggly. And we're in beautiful Melbourne. So Annie, tell me a bit about what you do and how you discovered your talents.
I'm quite eclectic. So I suppose if you want some words around what I do, I'm a healer. I'm a coach or a guide of sorts. I've done holistic modalities since in my early 20s. And I tend to learn, get what I need to know myself, and then move to the next. So I'm all for collecting what you need in your life out of whatever modality. Leave the dogma, leave the joining the group, and get what you need and move on with your life. So it's led me to have quite an interesting life with a lot of travel and a lot of experiences. I'm quite an experiential learner. So
we were talking earlier that, from your first period at 13, you found an awakening and you didn't know what to call it, but as you got older and people said, oh, I had an epiphany or an awakening, you're like, oh, doesn't everyone have them regularly? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. And I got little goosebumps when you fed that back to me, because it's something I hadn't said before, but it's always sort of annoyed me a bit of like everyone going, oh, I've had an awakening. It's like, well, you'll have more. Don't just hold on to one experience. It's just one thing. Life's here for the cracking open of us and to find our gifts. And I was so hanging out for my period as a young girl. I couldn't wait. I'd read Dolly magazine. I knew how it was going to work. I was repatterning from then because I knew how my mother thought she was dying when she got a period.
Yeah, same here.
She was out in the country, 14 brothers and sisters, and still she did not know what a period was. And I think from those times, knowing that, I had this idea that whatever, I had to start clearing ancestral stuff, and I wasn't prepared to carry people's heaviness with me.
Yeah, at
and
such
that's
a
what
young
my
age
life
without the teaching. So how beautiful, because so many of us, I had a mum that had really heavy periods, and there was drama attached to it. So I would get my period at school, and it was back in the days where they had a whole sick bay.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, all right, this is the menstrual room, basically. It was like the red tent of private schools.
Yeah.
And you would go, and it was part of the month that, it was okay to have half a day in the, sick bay and be cared for and nurtured, and that it was painful, and they had Disprin and aspirin and pads and, all that kind of thing. And then as we got older, it was, you'd take a Mersendol, something to stop the cramps and make you sleep. And why is that culture so prevalent? And how can we educate young women and older women that are going through their menses to their menopause that this is a time to celebrate?
Yeah, so having our period and menstruating has been shoved to the back burner and hidden in sick bays everywhere else, and then women joined the workforce and all of a sudden it was, oh, you can use tampons. You can do anything with your period. Just take painkillers and put in tampons and
plug it up and numb it out.
And as we know, this is our rest time. This is our totally psychic time. This is our time when we're here to get the messages, to rest into our body and to really feel what we're so good at, feeling.
Yeah.
And that's not something that's really been, it's frightening for people. It's especially frightening for a patriarchy to have powerful women who know how they feel, what they want, and aren't prepared to put up with bullshit.
Yeah. So,
dumbing down as such. Yeah, making the period, trying to medicate it away. And so many women with like endometriosis and these terrible, painful, really painful conditions around their period or every month.
I was
suffering.
one of those women. Endometriosis, I bled every 23 days. I bled for 7 days, and I had reoccurring cysts and then eventually a cancerous tumour. It was benign, but, my suppression of that pulled my ovary through into my bowels, and everything had to be cut and snipped and re-sewn because of what you're saying. So is there, within our cycle, you were saying, you know, the time to bleed is a time for quiet and reflection, for divine wisdom, for writing your feelings. So is there other times in the cycle when we tune in that we can be productive, that we can get out there?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of women, once they're with ovulation, they're incredibly attractive.
Yep, pheromones.
It is. It's all in our body and in the chemicals. And knowing that you're going to need that little resting space, but pre-ovulation you're going to be coming up and being able to face the world.
So there are times to schedule meetings or do your Facebook Lives or get those.
Yeah, you could run your whole business around your menstrual cycle, or as I'm moving into perimenopause, menopause, learning how to make new cycles of rest that suit you. Yeah. Because you won't have that cycle to run on anymore, and so women, the estrogen starts get depleting and we've got more adrenaline in our systems, and all of a sudden we have this new life in front of us, a lot of us, or we are facing the pain and the distress of life's unlived or things, traumas that tend to bite us in our 50s. Yeah. It's like, deal with it now, or you can be old and bitter, basically, and continue your life. And there's a lot of, you know, some people will end up, that'll be the way, because it does. It takes a lot of energy to build the resilience to deal with whatever happened to you or your parents' parents, all these different conditionings that are layered on. That menopause is the big time for us to move through it and be the powerful women we're being called to be. Mother Earth needs us to be. Yeah, yeah. 100%. We can't play small anymore. The young women need us to speak up. Like, we were never spoken to properly. We didn't know about periods. We didn't know about menopause. My mother didn't speak of menopause.
No, I had a brown paper bag that was put in my room once a month.
Yeah, yeah. Mum bought me in this pads with a belt. And I'm like, oh, God, I think they went out, you know, they're definitely not in Dolly magazine, you know. Mum, yeah, anyway. So much unspoken stuff.
Yeah.
And I think...
And the shame and, you know, period blood, like, oh, don't come near me, don't have sex, I'm on my period. It's completely the opposite. That's one of the, you know...
We're luscious.
And it's a safe time. Like, you're not going to get pregnant if you don't want to. You're luscious, you're plumped.
You're plumped, you're ready to... Oh, I know. And imagine if we're educated that our bodies, we could feel pleasure, and that's what they were for, and that all this is going to make us incredible women who will be of service and be able to offer so much more. So we're so conditioning to think, I've got to help someone else, and I will only be good in this world if I'm helping someone else. Service, and it's rife in the healing industry. People go into healing because they get a little bit of healing themselves and go, they forget themselves then and go healing everybody else, and it's like, come back, it's never over. Just like your awakenings are never over. Yeah. It's this presence thing. It's what you're talking about. It's in this moment. We've got it all now. Yeah, we've got it.
So for young women watching this, they can tune into their cycle and be productive, have their quiet times. Like, there's information, there's lots of stuff online.
There's so much more now.
Yeah.
I even went to my son's share house, and on the wall of the share house was the menstrual cycle and the ovulation and what happened and what herbs were good and which teas to drink. And these young women are, you know, and one wanders in going, I'm free bleeding today. And I was like, oh, wow, you know, I read about it in the red tent, you know, where they all gathered and there was straw in the old days for everyone. I'm thinking, great, you girls, you're owning it. I'm so proud of them.
Yeah. And then taking that cycle and that understanding into your menopause, that, oh, yeah, once a month there'll be a few days where I need rest and reflection. So what does that look like? How can women, you know, 45 onwards that are starting to have these effects have in their bodies, deal with it without necessarily... I mean, if you need HRT and counselling, go for it. But you were talking about other measures to develop your presence and your power and have the strength to move forward while you're going through this change.
And I'm the same, Georgie. If you need to do HRT or you need to do just do what you need to do. It's not my menopause is mine, yours is yours.
Yeah.
And I go for that for everybody. Nobody knows your answers. You know your answers. So get wise. And that's what menopause is about, isn't it? It's like, get the wisdom, you know. So I suppose many, especially, we've come from having children, career, maybe marriage breakdown, mental health issues. There's so much for women around this time. And then we're really needing to rest. So how the hell do you do that? How do you rest and start to feel your feelings and, you know, tune in with yourself when all this life's going on? So it has to take precedence. You have to really, this is this self-love piece.
Yeah. And what does that look like? What are some guidelines?
What are some guidelines? Yeah, boundaries. boundaries. What's serving you, what's serving others, and can you look at how you're serving the world and what you need to do for yourself before you step out helping everybody else.
So, you know, for me, and that's really interesting you said that, I just automatically started stepping back from volunteer committees.
Yes.
You know, I was the P&F queen, I was the fair woman, I was the, you know, collect the white elephant goods store lady. I'd be that person there driving around. I just went, actually, no. And I couldn't understand, but I didn't have the pull for it anymore. So that's part of the self-care, is dropping out the things that are just depleting you, unless you got pure joy from it and you really loved it. But for me, it was really weird. It was like over a period of 6 months, I went, this is not my thing anymore. Oh, it's always been. And then there's an identity. Who am I?
What I do, or am I just all right when I'm not well? Or am I all right just to lay on the couch for today? Could I not pass judgment on myself because I'm not wanting to do my hair and put my makeup on and go out there and be something for somebody else? You know, and there might be a few tears for a lot of people in that, because it feels like they're a failure, or they're failing other people, or their whole identity's around
doing.
And
we're human beings.
Doing.
Someone said that to me the other day. You're not a human doing. It's like, whoa, I'm a being.
And that's what that whole presence piece is. When we're present with what we're feeling, you don't need to do anything. What needs to get done will come through. You know, we don't need to be so busy, we're so out of touch with how we feel that by the time we get to menopause, we're depleted. If you go into menopause depleted, how the hell are you going to cope?
Yeah, I understand. Well, I didn't. Like, I'm 10 years in menopause, and, you know, it started really early, and so all the gynae stuff I had, you know, really changed me. It was like my last baby was born. It was like, right, get one period and then we'll start perimenopausal. And that was such a shock, and it's taken this 10 years before, you know, I'm about to turn 50, and I feel like I've got presence. I feel like I can actually sit here and have this conversation and be confident in that, because I was so depleted.
Yeah. And from that depleted place, we're told now, oh, great, get in your 50s and go for it and be seen. And actually, no, maybe not. Maybe it's your time to have a rest first. So that's what I've been doing. My whole life sort of fell, or the little life that I'd built really crumbled apart. You know, I had a separation of my second partner and my stepchildren, and that wasn't easy. That was, you know, he was suicidal, and it was very difficult, and it was long-term depression. My business, I'd built this incredibly beautiful yoga and wellbeing studio, and I'd gone out there with that initiation energy and built it all up, and all of a sudden the developers moved in next door and the whole internal wall crumbled, and I had to move into getting lawyers and rebuilding and trying to hold myself together, as well as being incredibly perimenopausal. So all these changes going on.
So
all I could
it's
do
all
was pull back.
It's all crashing down around
I was
you.
putting band-aids on as fast as I could. I was blaming myself. I was trying to find solutions. My mother died in there. My dog died as well.
Oh.
Like, it's just boom. And this, I'm not alone.
No,
most
not
women
at all.
my age will have elderly parents or kids with mental health issues. Something will be going on.
Yeah. Partner that doesn't understand where you're at, what's happening. Because men owe pause. Like, there's a pause on that, you guys.
And if you haven't communicated
totally
well through then
it's a shock to the system.
and you've got these hormones coming through, and they're lucky to survive. You know, I remember a woman saying, I was lying next to him, I just want to kick him and kick him again. I just want him out of, because it had hot flushes, and it's like, it's that sort of power that comes through of, I am tired of the bullshit and I need to give to me and be me and
So how do women do that? I mean, yes, we can rest, but there's also, we're coming to a point where we want to create, we've got this new matriarch feeling, this wise woman. So there's, for me, I was talking earlier with Francis about, the big vision and the dream, and all of a sudden it's coming to life and I'm kind of catching up. But at the same time, I really do need to take a day off now and then. Like, it's, and have me days. And is
perhaps
that
even more than
now and then?
Now and then.
Okay, yep.
Because we're so in the habit that doing more is going to create more, but it's not the point. It's like, work harder and you'll make more money. And if that was the case, all those people working ridiculous hours would be really, really rich, but they're not.
Yeah.
So we're sort of being conned into this system of hard work equals making money.
Yeah.
But actually, I think you're hitting on something of connection, belonging, and that we can heal ourselves, do our work, and then collectively, this is the big healing we're here for.
Absolutely. And if we talk about money, when I was talking to Faye Chan the other day, we're talking about it as an energy.
It is. It's just
a
an
vibration.
energy. Pull it in, pull it out of the quantum field. That's where we're moving to, and that we're starting all those myths. All those things we've been told, you've got money blocks, you've got this block, you've got that block, and you've just, no, you haven't. It's all right. Just deal with your stuff. Have a look at the patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible time for women.
It is. And so what are some ways for us to step into this new phase with grace, with ease, with a little bit of frustration maybe as well tossed in, but what are some
firstly,
tips?
just know yourself. Get to know yourself. Pull back from giving to others just for a moment. Or if it's a meditation practice, just for an hour or even 10 minutes. Or even sitting at the lights in your car. Whatever's possible for you, just start. Because we're of a generation that is, I'll just fix all this up and I'll do it tomorrow.
Our safe problems.
I'll just do all this and then I'll diet tomorrow. Actually, you're fine. It's this self-help thing that gets us trapped every time. This, I'm not good enough. That's a big one for me. I could not do enough study and courses and do enough things until now I'm realising it's nothing to do with it. It's just a pattern.
Yeah.
It's just a pattern.
As your
It's
limiting
not
beliefs,
mine.
thinking that if you didn't have enough qualifications, and I've been that person, it's like, I don't have the piece of paper, I can't be a leader. Well, no, actually, I've done apprenticeship. I've done a really, hard apprenticeship, and I've worked through it.
And that's maybe a big thing for women our age to know. The experience of being a mother, if you wrote that up as an actual CV, of managing a household, so we think we're not enough, but actually we're far more qualified. We've done economics, we've done
medicine,
communication, all of
homeschooling, basically, with helping kids, sports coach, therapist, heartbreak coach when their first love happens and it doesn't work out.
And we've had to face all our demons as we watch our kids, or they'll say things to us and, it's reflected back to us. We see stuff through our children and then...
Oh, yeah. One of my boys the other day was like, Mum, honey works better than vinegar. Because I was like, rat. And it was huge. It was
beautiful.
I was fully like, and then I thought, good on me for actually, obviously
being receptive,
but sharing that sort of wisdom that at 14 he could turn around and say that to me, and it changed my parenting style. I have one kid that, you know, it's like polarity magnets.
Mm.
It's like, I love you, but oh God, I can't believe you're mine. And I would react instead of responding, and it would crescendo up until the whole family was. And this one comment from this one younger brother changed. I actually, the next day, deep breath, and our communication now is beautiful, and I'm taking the time to see his needs without reacting. I'm actually responding, and hey, you need to have a run, you know, or do you want to go kick the soccer ball before you do the dishes? And he's like, whoa, this woman is great to be living with now, and it's better.
How great to be receptive.
Yeah.
Oh, we get so armoured up. So much
having
armour
to be
to be right, or that we've been talked to in the wrong way for so long by so many people, by, you know, especially our male and female, our the way we speak with each other and what we've heard. That sort
letting
of
go of the
conditioning.
need to be right, and it's like, I don't mind if they don't know or understand.
Yeah, because it's their lesson. They get it. Yeah.
It changes everything. And I think that's a big part of being present and bringing your power is letting go of the other people's drama. And I feel really strongly about stepping into my 50s without the drama, or with grace, whichever way you want to look at it. You know, somebody will have a broken arm and, you know, I don't even ask what happened anymore.
Yeah, well, you don't
need to know, is right it? Here, right now, they're just wanting some Reiki energy, or they're wanting me to make them a cup of tea, or, but lots of little things, and people are standing there waiting for me to ask, and I'm not. And I have much more space in my mind.
How good. So that's one thing, isn't it? For menopause and menopausal women, have a look at where you're making the drama. You're making the drama in your life. Yeah. Other people can come to you with drama, but you're making your drama. They're not making your drama.
No, you can put on your Teflon coat and let it rinse off like on Teflon, or you can be a sponge and absorb it and then create more drama.
And it's okay for us to sit here and do that, but we've done a lot of work to get to this stage.
Yeah.
So I would suggest find a community, find people, find other women who are moving on and doing good things. Women's circles are coming up everywhere. There's so many healers. You know, please don't go on any more diets. Have a look at the things that you've been told by the industry that you need to be. Like, I know for menopause, a lot of it's putting on weight. Well, a little bit of weight, it holds estrogen. Okay. People with a bit of weight on their body will do better through menopause. And it's juicy and yummy. So, yeah, and we were never taught to really make contact with our body. No. It wasn't okay, right? But actually, rubbing your breasts stimulates oxytocin.
I know, you forget about that as you get older. And
you feel good. So rub yourself up and down with oil. Do all the juicy things. That's self-care. It doesn't have to be you go on a 3-week retreat and then you do nothing ever again. Yeah, like you can start just doing joyful, yummy things for yourself. Make your bed nice. Put an extra pillow. You know,
not another goddamn pillow.
You know, find a way to get comfortable so you can actually relax in. And when the painful bits are there, you've got a safe space. So you're not racing off to grab the Tim Tams or put on the Netflix. So you could actually sit with yourself and go, okay, I'm not going to die. I'm just feeling long-term feelings that I haven't felt.
And so that can be quite exquisite. I mean, if you're mature enough and have the emotional intelligence to feel it, experience it, grieve it, and move on, rather than using it as your drama story and your victim for your next 15 years until the end, or until you could be dead. I mean, both my parents were dead in their 60s, so it's like, oh, I could have 15 years if I followed my hereditary line. But just jumping back into the self-nurturing and the pleasure thing, because a lot of women our age are experiencing dry vaginas, dry eyes, like you said, that, and you don't want to just, you know, have the pounding hot 20-something-year-old, you know, sex, or and your partner might be snoring and you're not, you know, like you're sleeping separately now, and finding that space. And I actually tapped into Jenny Mears. She's a beautiful Melbourne woman, and I'll be chatting to her as well soon. And she just explained just what you were saying about oiling yourself with moisturizer oils. She has beautiful Ayurvedic oils, and they actually, when she oils herself, they absorb into her body and nurture her organs as well. And when, you know, and I hadn't even thought this concept. And this is the conversations we need to be having. So I got some nice oils and mixed them in with my moisturizer. Well, far out. Twice a day, oiling your body and spending extra time on your breasts, on your nipples. I was like,
yeah, it's going on, right? It's like, okay, I'm actually alive here.
Totally. I'm even to my toes. And I wasn't being sexual. I wasn't, you know, delving deep in my genitals, and but I was moisturizing everywhere and feeling that pleasure and feeling sensual for the first time in a really long time. And, you know, I took some selfies of myself and edited them up black and white so they were tasteful, but just went, wow, you know, with all my curves and with my boobs after breastfeeding 3 kids, and just went,
how beautiful.
Amazing.
How beautiful to appreciate that this is your one body you've got for this life. And every time you have those thoughts about yourself, it's self-abuse.
Yes.
It's abuse. We have to catch them. And I know, I hear, because I do yoga and meditation classes, and I've done sort of workshops for years, and I'll have people go, oh, I'm so clumsy, or I can't move this, you know, and the way they're talking to their body, it's like, stop. Rewind, reprogram that. Because if you keep saying, my hip's dodgy,
you'll have a dodgy hip.
What's going to happen?
I'm so fat, you're going to feel the couch.
Yeah. Oh, I can't do that. My boobs are all, you know, I'm too big. Nobody will like me because I've got to lose weight. I've got to lose 2 kilos or 10 kilos. It's like, it's just meant to confuse us. It's just messaging coming in meant to confuse us and keep us out of our power. So see it as a revolutionary act that you're actually touching yourself. You know, you're making a huge difference.
But on that negative self-talk, when I first discovered that and started learning about it, I mean, it's been, you know, out in the ethers now for a while, I actually visualise, you know, the old-fashioned tape decks we had when we were...
Rewind.
Well, no, actually, I pressed stop, pull out the tape, and on the second side, remember how there was 2 tape decks you could record? I put in the positive tape, and I have to do that. Like, some people click, some people flick, some people clap, some people... But for me, I have to do like, oh, shut up, press the stop button. People look at me, I'm going, just a minute. Okay, pop. And it, for me, I need that thing.
Well, it's bringing it back to your body, because your body's remembering.
And it's going, oh... And it's only, you know, changing 1% a day on those negative thoughts. For me, it was like, oh my God, 100%, and just 1, and then it was like, oh, there's actually 51%. It's
a little bit of a ripple goes through. You don't know, the work starts to do itself, and we get this, wave of another awakening that it's this simple. We're told it's so difficult.
Totally.
You'll have to work hard for it.
No.
It's like, no, have more fun, have a bit more pleasure. You'll be a better person to be around. You'll feel like helping from your heart, offering, not because it's a Christian do-good thing that I have to do this. I mean, it's this. Yeah.
And it becomes quicker as well, the more you practice. So this is really important. Just, you know, if you notice that you're complaining, just stop for, even if you're
have a breath.
Yeah, for an hour. And think of good things. Think of, think of the good things in your life.
That gratitude piece is huge.
Yeah.
And I know it's really difficult when you're in stress and you're in a trauma has come up. It's really hard to find that gratitude to grab hold of because you don't feel grateful. And that's why it's important to do your work in times where you're not in stress and you're not in trauma, to spend time getting to know yourself and make that safe space, make friends with your body, so that when it hits, you've got something to come back to. You've made a safe space in yourself. You know who you are. You know you can rely. There's a resiliency there that I can come back here and rest here. Doesn't matter what I do for other people. Doesn't matter what people say about me. I'm whole, I'm healed, I'm here, and I'm present. And that's a great space to be able to deal with what life brings us, because it's gonna bring us challenges.
Yeah, especially in this half of our life.
You know, you might be told, I'll do this EFT and I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do that and I'll get on spiritual path and I'll be light and love. It's not true. You're going to put yourself through the washing machine. Yeah. You're going to get thrown around if you go, because we're healing. We're realigning. We're coming into a new phase where...
And we were talking about astrologically, this is what we call Chiron return.
For women coming, and I just looked you up, Georgie, because this is your little chart I've done on human design. Can you see that, Francis? Yeah, so that's Georgie's human design chart. So I use human design as a bit of a mechanic's blueprint to tell me about your energy.
Yep.
So we have 9 chakras instead of 7. What was I talking about? Oh, your Chiron return. So I just looked here so I can see your chart details. Your Chiron return is April 21st, 2020.
Okay.
So that's the return of the wounded healer. So everything's realigning for you to move into this next phase of your life.
And what is a wounded healer? What does that mean?
So Chiron, I'm not sure of the story. I'm not going to spout the story of Chiron, but something happened to Chiron. I think he maybe got an arrow or something happened anyway. It's about the part of us that's wanting to heal so badly, all those wounds, all those things from the past. And they're right at the forefront. It's a slow-moving planet, so it's around here now.
Yeah.
Comes around our 50s, menopause, and which I find fascinating because I feel like menopause is a spiritual awakening that's been forgotten.
Yes. My Reiki master says exactly the same
thing. Why, and it's like we have to join together and stop bagging it and treating it like a lot of symptoms and go, this is a spiritual awakening, just like if you've been through a pregnancy or anything. What an awakening that is. Whatever type of birth you had, it was huge. You know, whatever, it changes us, and menopause changes us. So it's like a challenge to bring all the little pieces back to center, like all those little lost parts of yourself, all those unhealed little girls, all those come in and sit by the fire. And that's the challenge, I think, of Chiron return, to bring all those parts of ourselves back together to move empowered into this next piece of our life.
How beautiful. And I guess at this age, this happens, probably because we're finished the little kid parenting, you know, marriages have changed, work changed, and we're actually hopefully know ourselves well enough to feel when that comes up and actually go, oh, yeah, this isn't life or death. This is part of my wounding. I'm working towards, or I'm being in the healing of it, not even working it, feeling it, grieving it, writing it out. And, you know, I love doing forgiveness rituals for myself in those moments. Actually, just writing a paragraph, reading it out, burning it in the fire and releasing it. And it can be that simple, and that is a really powerful technique at any age. But really, I found in this past year, I've been wanting to do it a lot, like more stuff's come up. Yeah, write it out, burn it, release it.
In a fire. Yeah.
But just little things, you know, if you don't have a fire pot, on your bloody stove with a lighter, like it doesn't take a huge ritual.
No,
you know?
And we get hung up on, well, I better go and buy these cards and I'll need to get that coloured fabric. It's intention, purely intention. You can do whatever you need with the right intention. I firmly believe that. Be present with yourself with intention and you'll work it out.
Yeah, and coming
You'll invent your own magic. You probably already have. You know, we do, right? We know what's powerful. We get the goosebumps and go, oh, yeah, that works. didn't read that in any books. Nobody told me that. How do I know all this stuff? And that's what comes up at menopause. I reckon.
And trust that. Write it. You've probably got a book in you, or a or a set of cards, or a movie, or even if you don't, just something that moves you in your true direction. And it may not feel comfortable moving that way.
And your real direction might be having a beautiful garden. We're very conditioned also to go, I've got to be something in the outside world, and we're not all here for that. And that doesn't really equate to success all the time.
No.
It's like
success as a person comes from deeper within.
Yeah.
So some people, it may be fulfilling their career path.
That's right.
And their career path is going to have a ripple effect on the world in a profound way. But you growing sage so you can make a smudge stick for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that may be, and it may not turn into a cottage industry. It might if you had enough bloody sage.
Well, that's right.
It may just be something that people come and go, wow, your house feels lovely. It smells nice.
And they're the people we remember, right? From my childhood, I can remember the houses I went to where I felt safe and the smell of cooking or the way they had something. There was a local lady and she did yoga, right? Nobody in my country town did yoga. She slept on the floor with her feet up on the wood stove. Like my mother would always be in her pajamas and the bedroom was immaculate. And she ate brown rice. And she used different sorts of plates, and I used to love going to their house.
She's the mum of one of your friends.
Yeah, and awesome. She was so out of left field and challenging all the dynamics of, oh no, I just want to breed horses and I want to do this. And I was like, oh wow, you mean you don't have to wear an apron and be a mum, and like you can be a different type of mum.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's like those people you remember.
And that's presence, and at the time
it
you don't
is,
know,
isn't it?
but looking back, that memory stuck with you.
That's presence, because she was authentic. She was doing what she wanted to do and was going, I don't care what you want me to do, I don't care what